All of this snow and ice putting a big chill on takeoffs. Thousands of flights canceled. And, of course, you know the drill. It doesn't matter if yours is in the path of that storm. If the plane you want is stuck where it is, guess what? So are you. To travel pro Mark Murphy on what you can do besides chomp down on Cinnabons at the airport while you're waiting. Mark doesn't do that. He's a thin, fit guy. But what do you do, Mark?
Well, first of all, they're proactively canceling these flights. So if your flight's being canceled, you want to make sure that you know what your carrier policies are. Can you get a refund? Are they going to automatically rebook you? Is that travel date going to work for you now? So I always recommend getting out in front of the storms. But if you're in the middle of it, you got to look at those carrier policies and see where you stand.
How big are these sort of rolling delays? In other words, if you know a bunch of flights are canceled one day and they continue to cancel the next day, how does that work with airlines and how they schedule their flights? I mean, it would seem to me that everything is staggered, or is it?
Yeah, so think about it. So you nailed it on the head at the opening. These folks are scheduling planes to fly from Dallas to New York over to London, London down to Miami. All of a sudden, one of them gets screwed up, and the guy in London's plane doesn't get there. So it causes this domino effect. And Neil, it sometimes takes as long as 72 hours after you feel that the airports here are back on track to work through the ripple effect of all of these cancellations. And that's just what we have to suffer. And we've been suffering all winter long with this.
I always wondered too, Mark, the people who know, all right, there are going to be storms and all, and they're quickly scrambling to get different flights. I hope they settle out how they're going to pay for it. But that, are they so sure that they're going to get around this that they might say, all right, I know my plane's going to be delayed because it's coming from this region, so I'll try another carrier in another region. But don't they all stand the same chance of being stuck?
Well, you know what? It's like hit and miss. You nailed it on the head. I came down to Florida a few days ago, and the flight after me was canceled. The flight before me was good, and my flight was good. No idea why the flight after me got canceled. Was it a mechanical? Was it a weather-related delay? We really are in the dark. My suggestion: make sure you try to book the first flight out. And if you're flying that day and you're not sure if your flight's been proactively canceled, it hasn't been canceled yet, then get to the airport, stand by for that first flight. Always call ahead to see if there are seats available, but go for that 6 a.m. flight because the odds of getting out are far greater on that first flight than as things stack up during the day.
All right, so when these people go dashing back and forth between gates at airports hoping to land on a plane, that's Russian roulette, but they just might find one doing that, right?
Yeah, sometimes that works. Best bet, use a travel agent. That travel agent will be rebooking you. They'll book you on the next available flight. They'll be ahead of all those people running around from gate to gate if you have a good one, but you got to find a good one.
Isn't it odd that Mark found the flight that was working? They said, Murphy's on this plane. We are not canceling it. All right,
yes,
Mark.
Yes, because the tweets would have been bad.
Oh, awful, awful, awful. Thank you very much. Mark Murphy.
Thanks, Neil.
Well, he